Okay, so we're going to get back to it after a little short break. First, I want to kind of summarize what we already talked about. Um, you lost your husband about a little over 2.5 years ago, and since then you've been grieving, been going through different stages of the grieving process. You met some, make new friends, form new relationships that were dysfunctional or hurting to you or wasn't in your lane. Wasn't in your lane. In the mix of that, you start working out, working on yourself, but you were still seeking the image of your husband. And as you better yourself, you start realizing those relationships that you had formed was not good for you. Okay. Now you at the point where you had emergency hip surgery. You have a new friend in your life that seems to be God sent. You work on your relationship with your daughter, your children, and your grandchildren. Okay, so that kind of brings us up to par. I just want to back up just a little bit because you mentioned a time in your life when you lived in Minnesota. It seems that everything in your life was better then. You had houses, you had cars. Can you give me a little bit more information about that or how, about that time of your life?
Um, well, Minnesota, I went up there 89, April 89. And at the time, that's when buses was on strike. The bus drivers to drive Greyhound was on strike. I took a step out of my life coming out of Gary, Indiana. At that time, the steel mills was closed down. The steel workers had been on strike for at least about 10 years. So it was no promising jobs around then. I had a child at that point. Me and my husband at that point had our first child, and her name was Candace. I did about a year and a half in the projects out there. They would shoot up my apartment. Had nothing, no relationship to me. It was just somebody randomly walking through the field and shooting it up. So I felt there had to be a better, somewhere else better. I had a girlfriend that went there, and she had two kids in high school, was in high school, and she was doing pretty good. And she was asking me to come that way to get a better start. At that time, I was 22, going on 23. Um, when I went up there, it was a better environment, positive people, jobs. You see the help wanted signs everywhere. At some point, I applied for 2 and 3 jobs, and I got them. And I was working them for a while because the fact that that young age, coming out of Gary, Indiana, moving to Minnesota, we didn't have anything. So at that point, I did about a good 3 to 4 years struggling through just working a lot. But then I figured out at some point, I don't just want to work. That was short term. I needed a long term solution about working, meaning a career. I need a career to help take care of my daughter and not just pay bills, but invest in things, buying things, homes, cars. We didn't have a car, but I was paying my rent. The cost of living up there in Minnesota was a little bit more higher. So with that being said, I ended up getting through a program called Wings. And with the Wings, it was a transition program from welfare to self-sufficient. So I went through a self-sufficient program. So what they did was they asked us what was our goals, set out 5-year goals. And then my 5-year goal was I had started school in Gary for surgical tech. But because prior to me, before I had my daughter or even met my husband, I went to school for cosmetologist right after high school. And that was in 85. But the cost of living, the steel mills going on strike, um, the inflation happened down, and unemployment was big in Gary to where people didn't have jobs. So nobody was really getting their hair done. It was more bootleg. So I wasn't able to finish and graduate out of cosmetology school because I had no people coming in to demonstrate or even go to do my state boards on. With that being said, I tried a couple other things, And then that's how I ended up meeting my husband. It was my boyfriend at the time, and then we had a kid. So at that time, I had to get serious. So I said, I got to try Minnesota, which was 500 miles away from Gary. Never been there. And my mom said, well, what made you go way up there? There's no black people up there. I said, okay, I'm Cuban, so I'm going anyway. With that attitude being said, I went up there and I would put in applications. And I would put down that I was white, just so I hope to get a job because we wasn't hiring in Gary. So I would put that down, just hoping they would mistake me. Which they never mistaken me, they just hired me. Because I was willing, I was honest, I was excited, I was there on time. I had 2 jobs, I got 3 jobs. Then finally I found that program so I can go back to school.
Okay.
And when I went back to school, I got back in school for surgical tech because that loan went in default. It stopped my Pell Grant in Gary. So with me being in textual school, they told me I couldn't come back till I paid that off. I didn't even have a job. The welfare check I was getting for my daughter was $2.29. That was barely even for us to eat. So with me going to Minnesota and finding the program, they helped me over them hurdles. And they helped me pay back the loan. At that time, they was declaring they was going to court. It was a class action suit against student loans to allow us to make a smaller payment to pay off our loans to get our credit back. I was one of the ones in the suit, and I was able to get that through this program to pay off that little $1,500 that I owed for the cosmetology so I could get back in school. But while I was going through that, the program helped me pay for school. So it helped me through any hurdles. I didn't have a car then. He told me if I get a little car, it will help me keep the maintenance on. We get renter's rebate up there, and I ended up getting a renter's rebate check. And I came back to Gary and bought me a $400 car. It was a '77 Pontiac. I drove that '77 Pontiac 500 miles back up to Minnesota. When I got there, I car got on the flat just before I pulled in, and the man helped me change the tire. They bought me new tires for that car.
Okay.
They gave me gas vouchers. I ended up finding the surgical tech program with them, and the surgical tech program was an hour and a half outside of the city of Minneapolis. It was in Anoka Tech, and that's why I went to school, Anoka Tech. In Anoka, but his school was Anoka Tech. I drove that car until the back end rusted out. And it would move on me as I drove down that road doing 70, one way there and one-way traffic coming back, doing 70, slipping and sliding, praying all the way to get through this textual school so I can have a career, to start paying for me and my daughter at that point. At that point, I got blessed with another little piece of car. And after that car went out, that other little car I ended up getting was a Charger. Now the Dodge Chargers don't look like the Charger I had.
Okay.
But it worked for a little bit and got me out of school, and I graduated in '96 from Anoka Tech as a surgical tech. I've been working that career since '95. They hired me part-time into the surgical area while I was still in school. When I graduated, I became a supervisor. I was supervisor at the Abbey Northwestern Hospital for 15 years. In that same department that hired me in '95 to work in the Corps, I became a supervisor over that department for 15 years. I had workers of 32 workers. I did evening shift, night shift, and morning shift. I sat amongst doctors. I helped create in the bariatric center. That's the people that's getting all these bariatric surgeries. I helped design a cart the way it can move remote control like a joystick, so that my workers was losing their feet and they couldn't lift these patients because they were so heavy, that where we did a remote control bed that slide them over and drive them, and we wouldn't have to push or hurt our back.
Okay.
I did it for 15 years. Then finally, my husband got sick. He lost his kidneys at 29. Our baby girl was like in the kindergarten, going to the first grade. She was in first grade. And he lost his kidneys then. And with him losing his kidneys, I was in surgical tech school. And that's when I started learning what was actually happening to him. He started dialysis. He stayed on dialysis about 5 years. His sister donated a kidney to him, and his kidneys worked right away. They said they should have been twins. He had started working for the state on dialysis, so he used to go do dialysis and work so many hours and go to dialysis, and he still would work. He went through a computer programming program. He was doing COBOL. He worked for the state of Minnesota for 8.5 years. Then he lost that kidney. But we had a child before he lost that kidney. We had one more kid, which was Wesley, our baby boy, which is 18. So in the midst of that, I was on programs. Because remember, I was in the schooling program to get through school. When I graduated, I started working at the hospital that I was doing my internship. Well, in the process, I went through a program to help me buy a house.
Okay.
And no longer rent or be on Section 8 on the government assistance programs. So with me being self-sufficient program, that gave me preference to move me up the ladder off of Section 8 into to buy my house. So I went through little programs to first home buyers where they taught you what to look for in a home, and HUD was one of the providers that were providing the loan. So I bought my very first home. I'm actually in one of the magazines, a HUD um, um, Section 8 program. Me and my daughter, I did a couple of engagements with them with Section 8 and Housing Authority to put awareness to the people that was on the Section 8 program or in the projects of housing authorities, that you can go through these programs and buy you a house and come out of that when you get through your self-sufficient program, or even programs that you're going back to school to move on off of different levels of programs. So I spoke with that for a good 2 to 3 years. I got pictures with the mayor. The mayor was Sharon Belton. She was a lady, black woman that was a mayor for the state of Minneapolis, and the city of Minneapolis, the state of Minnesota. She stood beside me and my daughter holding the check because they was donating money to the program to help more people spread out through Minneapolis, because the housing at that time was overwhelmed with a lot of people that was low income. They couldn't. The cost of living was so high they couldn't afford the housing. So that's how I got my first home.
So you mentioned that you had houses, cars. Um, so was there other houses, or was this your first one, or?
That was my first house.
Okay.
That was my first house that was in the city. As I spoke, my husband did finish his little internship and became a computer programmer for the state of Minnesota.
Okay.
So at some point he started saying, because he was still on dialysis, we couldn't go nowhere or for our vacation as a family, because he would have to do dialysis every other day. So we ended up buying a house in White Birch, Minnesota. It's 3.5 hours outside of the city of Minneapolis.
Okay.
And White Birch, Minnesota is Breezy Point. So we had a house on the golf course, and it was outside the campground. And we would go up there every year at a certain time, just around my son's birthday and the holiday, Labor Day holiday. My son's birthday was May 25th. We would take that time out as a family and go up there and spend time fishing. You can golf, swim, stay at the marina, anything that deals with the outdoors. We was able to do that in this other house.
So would you think that's more of a happy time in your life?
Yeah, it was. Even in the midst of the storms of him being on dialysis, God made a way, and we used that way to enrich us. Not look at it as like, why me? My husband's favorite words was say, why not me? Anytime that he had to go have surgery or go through something, he would say, small thing to a giant. And he would go. And he would go. He would go.
It's okay.
He would go.
Okay.
And he would come out. And you can tell they took a little more from him. And a little more from him. But he would come out so happy to see us and so proud of his children. Yeah.
So here you are today, trying to continue that journey of the expectation of where your life's going to be and how you want to rear and the things that you want to give to your kids.
Yeah.
Are you feel like you're getting back to that, or how can you get back to that?
Um, I don't think we ever left it. We all, as humans, you can only run so long. If you true to what you did in your life, if you true, you gotta be true though,
Hmm.
because a lot of people ain't true. A lot of people run until they finally run themselves down, and then they pass out this world, and they never finished their journey. Because I spoke of choices and journey, I speak of that because I've been on a long journey, and as I get older, I see it display in front of me. We made it through then, but wow, to look at it now from then, it's like, whoa. I have to continue that because that's what he petitioned God, my husband petitioned God for, he asked for. When I say petition, he asked and he prayed on it and he kept praying on it. And I think all of that happens. He wanted our baby boy to go to college. He's in college. Um, just working what God gives us. He wanted to see his grandkids grow up. They're growing up and they're right here amongst me, so I get to see them and work with them some. It ain't always the best, but the main part is we still family. I'm going to instill the word family because everybody gets a turn to run their journey.
Okay.
Everybody get a turn. So it's my turn now. He was the head of the household, and they said the man's supposed to be the head of the house. We the neck. He was the head, and he took care of us, and he instilled a lot of things in us. Now it's time for me to bloom because he said, I asked God if anybody I could leave here in my place. I said, can it be you? And I'm going to need you to finish this. I'll never forget that. And that's all I know. I don't know nothing else but that to finish that race. Regardless, we got our son to where we need to go. I work on my daughter to get closer so she can understand. This is not a walk by choice. This is a walk by God. My choice is to choose this walk or choose another walk. I don't know no other. I know this one because my husband instilled in me. That marriage helped me grow. Like I said, I had things in my life at the beginning because I wanted to run. That's human. I didn't know no other. I just know this happened to me and I saw it and I was there and it's like, whoa, you're not here no more. How do you handle this? Oh yeah, we would say we was getting prepared. You know, we grieved for a long time, me and him together. But you never prepared. I think I'm getting prepared better. And I'm liking the fact that I feel like I'm growing up. It took this to slow me down to realize I didn't need that.
Yeah,
The
so
people that I picked up.
it sounds like you're understanding
Yeah.
more of what your journey is, the
Yep.
expectations and the outcomes that you're looking for.
And I can't explain it to a man that's, if you're going to be in a relationship with me, I can't explain to you the journey I've been on. I can only tell you.
Because you haven't experienced that with you.
Exactly. Or if you even experienced something like that. The difference between the one I had before and this one now, the other things I pursued before and this one now is that this one been on a journey. And this one been on a deep journey. To where it admits them journeys. That, you know, I was out here and then I didn't know and I went back home to go take care of my mom, saying I'm gonna move in and me and my mom put my mom somewhere. He went back home, his mom was gone. Buried, nobody told him.
Wow.
No brothers, that's for them. They didn't even call and tell him. So he lost it and was homeless for years, living places and making up things. But finally something hit him and got together to his mindset that he says, oh, I just went on and started working, doing things. I finally bought me a car, a truck so I can go haul. I cleaned out people's garage. I helped them watch. So the helper that was instilled in him, his talent came out. But he recovered in the midst of his storm. He found himself. It's hard to find yourself in the midst of a storm when you got a lot of distractions.
Okay.
Meaning, I was distracted with the things that I thought that me and my husband was going to recover once Wesley graduated.
Okay.
And we was gonna go do, we was gonna go back dancing, and we was gonna go back and do this, and this was just fixated in my mind to work, because this is where we gonna go once he graduated. But all the time, I really wasn't paying attention. I couldn't. I wouldn't. I saw the same him from the day we met to the day he left this world. Even though he had changed, I still seen that same face. I never really seen that change. It didn't disturb me. It didn't take me from him. It made me go even fall in love even more.
Okay.
When I seen him come out and all the bruises and the wounds and the scars and all of that, it just made me come even harder.
Okay. He sound like a fighter.
Yeah, he
Like a
was.
fighter.
He was. And he did 21 years. He had over 300 something surgeries.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. And he didn't want no more. Anytime you hear somebody say, I don't want no more, they tired.
Okay.
And he said that for years, 2 to 3 years, and I just, so it puts me to that journey of saying, I want to evangelize. I want to go out here and witness, testify, show, help encourage next. But I'm starting at home. And that's what I think we finished off with. I was starting at home with working with my own daughter. Because this generation I see behind us, our children, are a little confused. They didn't have that old school upbringing. Some of us, our age is 50 to 45 to 55. We kind of want to be them or use them as that's my life. No, it's not. No, you're my child and you're going to stay my child. I don't care how old you are. I got to keep teaching you until I cannot teach no more. You have to keep putting that seed in man in that field. You cannot live in the field with the children. You can't be their best friend. You just can't go partying with them. I don't agree on all the levels, but I'm going to agree on some levels. I'm going to keep supporting you. So some of the things I see the young women do, I didn't per se go through a lot of that. Some of the things we take ourselves through. Like now, they deforming their bodies, to put stuff in their bodies, to change their whole look, their mouth, their body parts. That stuff right there comes back on you.
Yes.
You know, I got a foreign object in my body now, and I'm fighting to keep this object in my body. That's the walk. I don't want to change my lips one all the time. Ain't nothing wrong with them.
Right.
Because society telling me I need to have bigger lips and a smaller waist. Yeah, I need to be smaller for health-wise, but as I see, that ain't all what it's cracked up to be.
Right.
Once I get smaller, what am I looking for? What's the outcome?
Right.
A lot of outcomes, we going to put some man see us more. And a lot of them come running to us, so we got an option to pick from. But all the time I had an option to pick from, and I hadn't even started losing the weight. And a lot of that option was confused.
Yeah.
And they were older than me. They didn't even have any of the traits I was looking for. But somehow I was making it up like they did. Until now, I know when I really needed somebody, I had to go to God. And he sent me somebody. And today, he went to work today. They told him they need help. People ain't showing up at these other jobs. He like, do you mind? I told him I had to ask you first. He gonna work 7 to 3 and then get off and then go to another store and work to 10. He picking up weekends. That's the husband. My husband. I remember. He let me come and heal while he went to work.
All right. So, I just want to commend you. You're a strong woman. You've accomplished a lot in your life. You seem to know what you want. Well, I wouldn't say that. At a point in your life when most needed, you seem to know what you want. You seem to know, okay, enough is enough of this. I need to do this so I can move this way. So I commend you on that, to move so far away from home with you and just your child. That's courage. That's courage. To a new place, an unknown, familiar place, that's courage. So I commend you on that. Okay? So we're going to end it here.
Okay.
I'm going to recommend, if you continue therapy in the future, probably some family counseling with your children. I don't know if it will be beneficial to include like grandkids right away, but at some point include the grandkids as well. All right. So is there anything else, any questions or any?
I just thank you for just even using me to, and hopefully it's something that can help somebody out of it, that they can hear something. Sometimes just hearing something change your whole thought.
That's true.
And that's just what I just hope. Somebody hears something out of it. Hey, I'm not ashamed of anything I did, but I just want to be honest. There is a God, and I prayed to him, and I know over these years and all the trouble we've been through, he never left me. And even now is a happy time for me.
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to sit here amongst you to even give my story, no, I'm happy. And I thank you for just even listening.
You're welcome.